Hey everyone, Correct Genes here, and today we have the G V18, that's the number. Although unlike its name, it actually has 21 pin chambers, 7 on the left and right, as well as an additional 7 on the top. Now only 16 of the chambers are active in this lock, the rest are filled with standard pins that sit at the shear line. And of those 16 pins, 14 of those pins are a mix of 2 different types of mushroom pins, and 2 of them are just ball bearings. As I discover later in the video, I was unaware that those ball bearings were there until I gutted it. Now I will be using a veritable arsenal of picks in order to get this lock open, the first of which is this very ugly looking tool that I dremeled out in order to pick from the bottom while sitting at the bottom of the lock. I will be using a different dimple flag in order to pick from the top, so that I can pick both the left and right side while maintaining my pick direction in the same direction of counter rotation so that I don't lose my feedback. Then I have 2 different tensioners as well as a pick for the top pins. So without further ado, let's get it clamped up and get it picked. Alright, here we go. Go counterclockwise, starting with our little ugly tool. Gonna try to get as deep into a false step as we can while picking as many of the mushrooms from the right side that we can. Got a few clicks out of the right side. Getting a couple out of the left as well. It's just the upper portion of the mushroom pins. And a few of these mushroom pins can also get set from this side on the left, but certainly not all of them. Just like that one. Yeah, that one's not going to set. Okay. The only thing about mushroom pins is that if you rotate the wrong way a little bit and they're not set, you lose the little progress you've made on them. It's not a huge deal, it's just mildly irritating. Alright, let's check the top. Click. Just going back to front, getting some clicks. Alright, set a few of the mushrooms there, most of them I think. Not all of them are in a place to bind yet, it seems. Let's check the right side again. I'm not getting anything else there. So let's go ahead and try to set something clicked in place. Let's go ahead and try to set some of the mushroom spools on the left. And I'm going to switch to a flag to pick from the top, just so that I am picking with the counter rotation, because otherwise you get basically zero feedback out of this lock. Okay, there's one, there's another. Well, get in there. There's a good click. Oh, that was another good click. Alright, we went into a nice deeper false set. So let's go ahead and run under the assumption that that's everything on the left. Check the top again. Tighten up tension a little bit. Alright, let's check the right one more time. Yeah, this is the many pins in a lock. It's easy to be left with something that's not set. Oh, there it was. Got him. I think it was pin 1 on the right. Alright, nice click out of pin 7 on the top. Okay, we're going to go back and check the left side again. Oh, there we go. Nice click there. There we go. And the lock is open. Now for the hard part, which is gutting this thing. And I can only hope, to the best of my ability, that there is not a disaster. So, lock is picked. Let's go ahead and lock it back up. Alright, how do we want to do this? So, first things first, get the back off. That's the wrong screwdriver. Dang it, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Wouldn't be a video if I didn't screw up the gutting somehow. Let's see if the worst is yet to come. Why did I tighten this so much? Are you kidding me? About to say the same joke again, then I realized I already said it. Oh, that's Not the right one either. There we go. That was almost as hard as picking the lock. Something in here makes these screws squeal like that. I'm not sure what it is. Sorry about your ears. Alright, there we go. Oh yeah, there's a little pin back there. Forgot. Let's not lose that. Okay, now for the moment of truth. Is the right follower? Yeah, I think so. Where to put the key? Key. Must one already. Alrighty. There we go. Let's get this put away in here. Dang it. Oh, dang it. Forgot about these things. Okay, here's these little profile pieces, and then here's the one that we lost. Tweezers. Okay, so we got all the pins right there. 7 on each side. Let's set that off over here, and then get the drivers out before we get too cocky. Alright, so we're going to organize this left, center, right. This only has 6 slots, so we're going to do it here. Get comfy, there's 21 of these. Alright, here's our first mushroom pin. Oh, there goes a spring. And the top chambers also have an additional pin inside of them because the top chamber is longer than the ones on the sides. And they didn't want to have to design a different kind of driver. I cannot blame them for that. Oh, sorry, this was our first mushroom. Alright. Whoa. That didn't go well. What did I lose? Okay, so the right side popped out. Okay, so this was from the left. Okay, this is the middle. Alright, we're still good. Let's make sure I have all the springs, because I'm pretty sure I don't. Yeah, get back here. So 3 and 3. Dang, how'd that happen? We got super lucky right there. So we don't need any more of that. Just going to be very careful from here on pushing these, just because of how close they are together. I might fast forward, and if I do, it will be starting right now. All right, let's resume from here. Take a good look at those drivers. Some light on it. Okay, so as you can see, there are 4 types of drivers. We have these brass mushrooms, which you can see have an extra little lip at the end, or an extra little diagonal bit at the end of them, as opposed to these steel mushrooms, which are relatively flat directly after the lip. We have, for some reason, ball bearings. You know what? I don't need to show you a ball bearing. I'm not going to pick it up because I can't. And then finally we have the standards. And as you'll see with the standards, these are actually effectively the same as empty chambers. So they don't actually need to be picked. And I'll go over why that is in a minute once we get all the key pins out. Well, actually, we're not going to get all the key pins out because now that I think about it, like, you've seen them in the chambers. I'm just going to show you all the different types there are. And so let's go ahead and do that. So you can see opposing the standard pins are more standard pins. However, this is a high pin count lock, and in order to actually penetrate into the chambers, you need a T-pin element. And you can see, if you look down in the chamber here, there's that little lip at the bottom, and that lip is too thin for these fat key pins here, which means that these don't even touch the key. They sit in there and they're just at the shear line. So they are basically an empty chamber that has a spring and pins, which is rather interesting. I'm not sure why they designed it that way, but they did. Next up we have a few different kinds of other key pins. So we have this kind, which has a little dimple at the top there and is a standard T-pin. And then we have this kind, and these are sort of randomly sparse throughout. There's actually a couple different styles of this one as well. This one you can see has a sort of angled top, and that gives it counter rotation, and it does give it counter rotation, as well as a number of steps afterward in order to like allow it to step to whatever depth of false set you happen to be at to fool you into oversetting it and then keeping it overset. In fact, you can actually see below the first lip this is interesting, there is a little bit of a wedge outwards, which means that when you click it in first, you get more counter rotation. It acts like a little spool. So this is basically like a challenge lock pin, more or less. It's very surprising to see something like that in a commercial lock. Let's go ahead and put these back before I forget which is which. Now you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, looks like 6 standard pins in the driver section. Although I do not think there are the same amount in the key pin section. It might be 6. So I believe there are 15 active pins in here. But I haven't taken, wait, no, there's less. I think there's only 5. There's only 5 in here. I think one of these actually is connected to a real key pin. It's 15 or 16. I don't want to bore you guys with taking all of these out though, so I'm not going to. I am, however, going to apparently put them back in wrong. So yeah, this is the G V18. Sorry that it took so long to get this. As you can imagine, it's a rather involved process. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, there are these as well. These are passive pins for, of course, just making sure that the key is properly shaped. These correspond to not a dimple on the key, but the entire groove down the middle. There's no warding in the lock, however, in lieu of warding, there are those passive pins which go into this groove here. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start the unenviable process of putting this lock back together, and see you next time. Have a good one. Okay, after more blood, sweat, and tears than I'd like to admit, I got all the drivers back in here, and I thought you guys might like to see real quick how I get the plug back into the cylinder with all of the pins that come from different directions. Don't let anyone ever tell you I don't live dangerously. Here we go. Alright, if I screw this up, well, that would suck. Here goes nothing. Come on. Nothing to it.